So you're looking all like tanned here.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about your adventure in Europe here.
Yeah, we've been on a bit of hiatus here for the past 3 weeks. I mean, even 4 weeks, I
Yeah, well,
guess.
and I was gone before that too. Like I was in New York and LA and San Francisco for a bit, so we had kind of a gap
Yes,
of episodes
exactly,
here,
right?
and we didn't exactly plan this. It's like it just, oh, I'm leaving this time. Oh, but I'm gone this time. And so
Couple of globetrotters over
yeah,
here.
yeah,
We had our Europe trip planned. That's where I went. I went to Europe.
okay,
We did backpacking trip, the girlfriend and I. We planned that trip out in about a month. Like it was
wow,
kind of spontaneous.
okay,
So, you talk about us not being ready. Like I wasn't ready to go to Europe.
yeah.
She was all of
It's
a
just like,
sudden
let's go.
it's like, I'm sick of my master's thing. I'm going to take a break. Let's go to Europe. And I was like, all right.
Honestly, I think sometimes the best trips just happen that way.
Everything worked out.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we landed in UK. We explored the English countryside and everything. We went to France, then went across the channel to France, I guess still, yeah, right? I think. UK to France, sorry. Across
yeah,
the
yeah,
English channel to
yeah.
France. Because we were doing
Did you take the train or
We took the ferry.
oh ferry?
Ferry
Okay,
across, yeah.
wow.
So I mean, you say wow, kind of fun, but it's also just like an 8-hour ferry ride.
Yeah,
Like it's
but there's something cool about being on a boat.
yes, yes. It's fun when you first depart and when you arrive. And then
Yeah,
the 8-hour intermission, it was just like laying around, sleeping. Like you're
yeah,
still just on an 8-hour plane essentially.
yeah,
We did a bunch of World War II sites though, so we went to like Normandy Beach, Omaha Beach, World
yeah.
War One tour, Flanders Fields. Went to Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Giethoorn, this canal city that's beautiful. Um, Switzerland we ended up in,
Nice.
Luxembourg. It was like a backpacking. I could make a whole frickin' travel vlog of like, here's what we backpacked, here's how you do it, here's what you need to do. Like it was a hell of a trip.
That's
Just a
cool.
whirlwind, man.
Yeah,
Going back now, it's like hard to even remember everything we did.
right.
Like it's like a whirlwind to me.
Yeah, yeah. When you're like, literally backpacking, I've never actually done
Oh,
it,
you've
but
never?
no, I feel like I
Do it
should.
while you're still young and spry.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
it only gets harder.
Yeah, oh yeah, for
Like
sure. Yeah, but I feel like it's, so much can happen so quickly because I mean, a lot of these countries in Europe are so small. It's easy just to like country hop in
yep.
like a day. So you can see a lot in a little time.
Yeah, we had a lot of like downtime on trains. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this will be a social media detox for me. I'm not going to be on eBay. I'm not going to be buying games. I think I bought more games on that trip than I did in like the past like 3 months combined.
Oh my God.
Because I was just sitting on trains, I was
Yeah,
sitting on ferries, I was sitting on buses, and I'm just like sitting there refreshing eBay.
that's funny.
Yeah, yeah, it just, I'm an addict. I can't get away from it.
I
Even
think
when
you
I'm
have a
away from
problem.
it, yeah, like I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So got some great purchases. Hopefully someone will help me pay off the trip and all that. But like, yeah, funny. Just funny that I was on my phone, way more than I expected just because, like you said, you're country hopping.
Yeah.
So you're just on 2-hour train, 3-hour train, 2-hour train, 40-minute train. Not to say the whole trip was on trains, but you get around quick.
Yeah.
You get up at 6, you're on trains until 9, and you're in a new country.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean, I wish we could like travel all over the place here on a train, but it's not practical.
I know it's so crazy. Even in the cities, you take public transit everywhere, and like our public transit here is like reserved for poor people. Like
Right.
pretty much, it's sketchy. It's you don't take public transit.
Mhm.
It's not a. It's like you don't do it.
Yeah.
There, it's man, like it's perfect. We
Yeah.
public transit everywhere in every city,
Yeah.
and it is flawless.
Yeah. And Asia too. Public transit's incredible.
Yeah. Just I wish you come back here and it's like, man, I don't want to take my car to like 5 minutes away. Like, why isn't there a bus stop here that comes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, I'm like, Jesus,
Yeah.
like, we're like, yeah,
It's inconvenient. Yeah. And it's
pretty much.
literally just, the factor of like 1,000 years of infrastructure. They have these super old cities that are made for walking. So it's like you can, actually walk places.
Yes.
Here everything's made in with this suburban mindset. So like good luck walking anywhere because you need a car to get to like a freaking coffee shop or
Yeah,
a
to
grocery store.
anything.
To anything really.
To anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, Europe is you got to backpack. You got to get out there. You got to go for a backpacking
Yeah.
trip.
I mean, I've been to Europe a
Okay.
number of times, but never done like the backpacking
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Like it's hard, it's tiring, it's exhausting, but it's absolutely worth it. And you can
Yeah.
go to like small destinations way easier than you would otherwise be able to. I guess is
Okay.
the thing. Because you can go explore London on a normal trip for a week or something,
Mhm.
or you can do 2 days in London, then travel elsewhere, go to the countryside, rent a car. Like you just have so much, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff you can do with it. But coming back, perfect timing, I guess, because we got some actual news here, big events. The first one being I made a video talking about it before I left. The whole auction took place while I was gone. No, Greg's Weekend Rental season 2, I guess, too.
Yeah.
Episode 1, season 2. We're entering a new season here.
That's
new
right.
people.
Back to school.
Yes, yeah, back to school.
We're taking you
season
back to school
for Greg's Weekend Rental. But the Nintendo World Championships Gold console sold. That was over on Golden Auctions. It was open auction. First one we've seen in, I don't even know how long, forever. Open public auction. Ended at $207,400, I believe, if I'm not wrong on that.
Yeah.
What's your immediate take on it?
I mean, obviously it was a lot higher than my estimate, but
Yeah, what did you? I forget your estimate.
I think I said like 90 or something.
Oh yeah, okay. You were freaking.
So it got blown away.
Yeah,
for
you
sure,
weren't
but,
even in on it.
You know, it's a market I don't really know, but I get it. It's like it's one of those rare grail items, and good luck ever getting another one.
That's pretty much, I think, where it came down to. Funny enough, the winner of it, we always talk like, oh, who buys these expensive things? Who buys these? They never, The winner of it immediately posted to Facebook.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if you saw. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
Owns Fire and Ice Games, maybe?
Yeah.
I think is what it's called.
Yeah, he's got a really cool store.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe he has a premier store if he's, spending $200,000 on a frickin' NWC Gold.
Yeah, his first thing in the post was like, okay, who has recommendations for ramen for
Yeah.
meals for the next 5 years?
Seriously, though. So we know who won it. He picked it up, $207,000. I mean, I think my estimate was like 225 or so, 250. So even a little bit shy of what I thought it might be capable of doing.
Yeah.
2024, it is what it is. I mean, record prices are they're hard to come by in video games.
Yeah, and it's just one of those items where it's like, whoever owns one doesn't have incentive to sell.
100%. You get this one for 207,000. The missing label, obviously. I do wonder if it's the missing label. Because it's Wales. It's all Wales competing for something like this.
Yeah.
So is the thought process like, I'm not going to spend 200,000 on this. I will wait until a nicer one comes up. My budget is 500,000. I'm going to buy a nicer one. If it takes, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm not settling for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost wonder if people just simply didn't bid because of the missing label. I know 207,000, obviously there were bidders, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the serious money collectors weren't interested. Where we could see one with a label or a nice condition one come up and sell for $400,000, $600,000, $800,000. Like it could be a massive multiple.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to say. I mean, maybe Golden doesn't have the same clientele for video games that Heritage does. At least, especially like considering what happened in 2021. But something I wouldn't really know.
Okay. Fair enough. You'd think with what the item, it didn't matter where it auctioned. I would you imagine.
Yeah.
I think Heritage obviously is the video game place, but $207,000. I like it. Like I like it. I'm fully okay with it. Is what I would say. I think someone like Pat, who's like older in his career now, he still has an NWC Gold. I think he should shop it. I think he should shop it around and just see if you can piggyback off this.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be my thought. Is if suddenly this is we have a public sale. Someone who owns one who has been on the fence about what to do with it.
Yes.
This might incentivize more to come to market.
Yeah. Start talking, get a conversation going. Say, my minimum's 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. Cause I'm pretty sure there's available right now. If you want to buy one, $1 million. I can say that. Like someone has talked to me about it and they're like, hey, if someone wants to pay $1 million to NWC Gold, I'm not selling it for anything less. But if you want to pay that, I can get you one.
Right.
Me personally, I can connect you with the buyer if you're listening and you want to spend $1 million on one.
Yeah.
So,
and what's the condition? That's the question.
No, it's nice.
Okay.
It's a nice one.
All right.
Not graded yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it's a nice one.
Okay.
But that's where I think more people should go with this is kind of like not a race to zero. Everyone starts undercutting each other, but like, hey, one's available at $600,000. It's available for a month. If you want it, reach out. We can work something out. If not, that's it. Because a lot of these people holding them don't need to sell them. That's the thing is we've gone through such a large time span without these ever selling or being for sale that no one who owns an NWC Gold is into it for a money amount where it matters.
Mm-hmm.
They can sit on it for a lifetime. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the people who own it, bought it like over a decade ago or something.
Maybe 10,000 is all they have into it. Like there's no such thing as a liquidity crunch. It does not matter. Yeah. Ryan is now the first public new person who it's like, man, I have $200,000 into this thing.
Yeah. Which makes it a lot harder to, hold on to.
It changes things.
Unless you let go of other stuff.
Yeah. It changes things.
Yeah.
absolutely changes things. And a lot of the cartridges still have not gone through that, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because NWC Gray now, we see them come up, every 3 months we
Yeah.
see one sell.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people holding them now are into them for $50, $60, $70, $80,000.
Yeah.
It's different. It changes things.
And I'm sure that original wave, was spawned by the first one coming to public auction, and kind of like, oh, people do care,
Well, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. I did that interview with Nicholas Membersweiler, one of the original contestants and stuff. I think I talked to him in 2021.
Okay.
So we sat down and talked about NWC, and at the time, his cartridge was probably 100,000, might have even been more than that, because we had some really strong. I think we had just come off a $180,000 NWC sale. So it was like, man, his had a sticker on it, not the greatest condition, but it was like, if you put it to auction right now, it's probably $100,000 cartridge alone.
Mm-hmm.
And in talking to him, it was like, I have no intention of selling. I'm going to keep this stuff, whatever it was, right? Like, no intention of selling. When he had his tombstone as well, he had his hat, badges, like he was a contestant. He had a full collection of stuff, essentially.
Yeah.
Another year passes, and funny enough, you see it all up for auction when the value has dropped 50% of everything.
Right.
So it's, and that's when we saw the most NWC Grays come up, was actually post the explosion, after prices already cut. So Nicholas sold his cartridge at Comic Connect, I believe.
Okay.
Of all places.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe he got a great consignment rate. Maybe he knew someone. Like, I don't know.
That's a good salesman.
Weird spot for it to show up.
Yeah.
Sold for like $60,000.
Okay.
And so it's just like, it's weird. It's weird how that happens.
Yeah.
With people and with money and booms and crashes.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, seeing those prices, you just don't know how it's going to go. No one has any idea how things are going to.
Yeah. I think you just always think like, it's going to keep going,
Yeah.
It's just funny that
everyone wants to ride the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just weird that once you see the value falling, you're like, okay, I should finally like cut ties or whatever, when it's at, not a market bottom, but NWC Gray hasn't really sold any lower than that.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the lowest.
They all seem to hover around that kind of 40 to 60.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nice ones go for 70, 80, 90. The whatever copies sell for like 50, 60.
Yeah.
And that's where it is right now.
Yeah.
But whatever, neither here nor there. I forget the story of where I was going, but it's kind of going on human psyche now. Yeah, with the NWC Golds, we kept seeing the Grays come up all through 2022, 2023, and 2024 even now, which is post their price increases. So I do wonder with gold if we're going to see a delay almost of action. Like everyone's going to be like, that's it. Like it's going up. It's keep going up. It's going up. 2025, we start seeing another one hit. 2026, we see another one hit. And maybe they don't go as strong as people are hoping.
Yeah, it's possible. You never know. I mean, I think if you are someone who's savvy enough and can do a private deal somewhere, that's probably the best option no matter what.
I assume that it's always sucks. Like they probably will transact and we won't hear about it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes with the rarest items all the time. Artwork, doesn't matter. Like, the rarest sealed games, they're always going to go private. So it's because it's a risk.
Yep.
Right? Auction's always a risk. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep. And speaking of big auctions, most expensive games
and speaking of things looking up.
Yeah, well, seriously though, right? Like we actually have some freaking action taking place here. The Hertiage Signature Auction just ended. Like I said, I came back at a perfect time here. We just have nothing but sales and like uptick in energy, but the Hertiage Signature Auction, great results across the board, honest to God, in the like 10,000 above range. The Dallas Fort Worth collection hit. If you guys don't know, that was this, it was a big find. Two brothers had collected games, or one brother had collected games for his whole life. So we had factory sealed NES, Super Master System, Sega Genesis, just all of this pristine stuff that he was sitting on, and he passed away. And so it went to an estate. It was put into contact with Hertiage Auctions. They were able to get it all graded, so authenticated, all this stuff. Put a lot of it up for this auction. So we had some of the nicest stuff we've ever seen come to auction in NES, Super Master System, all these consoles. So amazing games come to auction, and a lot of them got amazing prices.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go ahead and talk here quick about some of the ones we saw and everything. I'm just going to start off with Legend of Zelda here.
Yeah,
at
that's
the very
what
top.
I have to.
Yeah, 9.2A. It sold for $375,000. Now, this Legend of Zelda first print is the highest graded copy that's ever come up for auction at 9.2A. Honest to God, at $375,000, and it might sound crazy to say this, but I think it is a good purchase.
Well, the last comp was what?
288 for an 8.0.
Okay. I thought there was a higher sale of a Zelda.
Well, there's, 870,000 of like, but that's, longer ago. If
Right.
you go back to like 2021, 2022,
Right.
you
Right.
can get 870 and 780, I think, respectively.
Yeah. Right.
Almost $1 million.
And what were the grades of those? Do you remember?
Not off the top.
Okay.
It was like a 9.0, 9.2. No, it couldn't have been 9.2. Probably 9.0.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Very nice copies.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think you're right. Zelda is one of the key franchises of Nintendo, and first prints are just, I mean, they're not as unicorn natured
yeah,
as
it's funny
Mario.
how that changed. Well, even with Zelda first print, it used to be held in that
Yeah.
unicorn regard, man.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, there's 3 of them known. And now 2024, it's like, there's 8.
Yeah.
There might be 9. Yeah, there's probably more
There's
out there.
probably more. Someone has a case back,
It's funny how that's changed on Zelda, actually.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. But I mean, it still is like a grail. If you want one of the key franchises, a first print Zelda is like, that's a tough thing to come by, even with, NWC Golds. How many are there?
Mm-hmm.
It's still
13.
Yeah.
There's more of those than frickin' Zelda.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think I agree with you that if someone bought this and is able to hold on for a long time, that's going to prove...
That's the thing. You have to have the liquidity to do this,
Yeah.
and not like you have to love it. Obviously, don't buy this thinking like Zelda's going to be worth twice as much next year. Like, this is a 5 to 10 year thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where now you have one of the nicest copies in the world that exists. You bought it at a time where no one's looking at video games. Like, video games are still being dunked on, crashed, they're bad, everything like that. So you're buying it at a time where the market doesn't care about video games. You're still paying $375,000. Obviously, someone cares, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not in the limelight like it was, like we were talking 2021 or whatever, selling for $870,000. Those people who bought in 2021 are still sitting on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 3 years now. And you're watching, much nicer copies sell for much less.
Yeah.
So the hold position you now get with this 9.2 infinitely better than any other opportunity that has existed in this market up to this point.
Yeah.
So 375,000 is crazy, but if you believe, and if we are to believe that video games are going to be these future grail pieces, this is it. It's the best opportunity we have had thus far to own a beautiful copy of Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, absolutely. And do we know who bought it?
This copy, nope, don't know yet. No one's come forward.
I'm sure, if I had to guess it, I'm sure it had to go to a premier collection.
I would assume so as well.
Yeah.
There's a few whales that we know buy and sell stuff in here. But yeah, hopefully it pops up.
Yeah, you never know. It'd be nice to see it, show up somewhere.
I love when people show. It's like when Ryan showed his NWC Gold.
Yeah.
I'd love to know where these end up, who bought them, and what the mindsets are.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I love to know are you sitting on it? Do you love Zelda? Are you just speculating? Is it? I love to know what other people are thinking when they spend $400,000 on a video game.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy in
It's
today's
interesting.
age, but yeah.
It's just interesting.
I think it's kind of like this auction seems to kind of show people that it's like there's hope, after all these
August 2024, like a new hope.
That's right. These couple years of just constant downturn. But I mean, it's to be expected. Everything saw that kind of plunge into nothingness, and just it takes a while. Everything is time relative, and most of these things are just so scarce in general that I think if you can afford to hold on for long enough, then I think time will probably help you out. But
that's about we sit here believing in video games. I'm sure other people would say you're a goddamn idiot buying this report. If you believe in video games, we think video games are supposed to be something.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda movie's coming out next year, the year after?
Probably the year after.
So Zelda as a franchise should only get bigger in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've it's like one of those game series where everyone that comes out is just getting super high reviews.
Yeah.
There's very few misses when it comes to Zelda.
Very few
It's
misses.
just one of those franchises and it always constantly innovates. I feel like Zelda is much more innovative in the end than Mario
100%
was in terms of game design.
Mario only did its first innovation in freaking how many years with Odyssey?
Yeah.
By it didn't even really change much.
I mean, Odyssey is pretty much like Galaxy.
That's what I was gonna say. It didn't really change much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, honestly, which I'm fine with because it's great.
It is great. Mario formula works.
Yeah, if you have a winning design, it's great. And I mean, obviously, they have innovated in other titles outside the the premier Mario titles with Mario Party and tennis and all these other sports games and stuff. But Zelda, I feel like when you look at the change between something like Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, it's like, whoa,
Yes.
that's a massive shift in game design.
Yes.
And it was a huge success. So, I think Zelda is only going to get more interesting and stronger as Nintendo slightly improves their hardware and comes up with new innovative designs.
Yep. I just agreed fully.
Yeah,
I'm in on Zelda.
We're in.
I don't need to pump you up anymore. Like, I'm
That's right.
already convinced, man.
Yeah.
What do you see? What do you think?
Well, you know what? I almost bid on a few things. I ended up not because I was looking at the Super Nintendo stuff.
Okay.
Because that's my first love. Like, when I started game collecting, I was like, I want these nice Super Nintendo games that I could never have when I was a kid. And, we have something like Kirby's Dream Land 3 going for 35 grand. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
That price to me feels like a 2021 type thing.
Yeah.
Where you're looking at it and you're like, 35,000 for Kirby's Dream Land?
Yeah.
Like, it's a great game, 90 plus, great. It's just like, 35,000 for Kirby's Dream Land 3?
Yeah. And it's
surrounded by, it's funny, the game right on top of it is the Nintendo PlayStation prototype controller.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, right? Yeah. Almost a one-of-one type item.
Yeah.
And underneath is a Super Mario Bros. First print. Like, that is where it's shoveled
that's
in.
Where it's, it's so funny to see it in juxtaposition like that.
Yeah, it's like, you can have those two, right? It makes sense. Prototype, Nintendo PlayStation.
And then Kirby.
Mario, first print, yeah.
Yeah.
Kirby
just here. But I think that copy was also Kaplan's.
It was, yes.
Yeah, who unfortunately passed away very recently, and he was very missed by the game community.
Oh, it's crazy. That hit me like a brick.
Yeah.
Dan Kaplan passed away, if any of you guys know. Big collector in the community. Yeah, wild. Didn't expect that coming.
Yeah, I didn't actually know him all that well, but I looked back at chat history and we talked about art and other stuff.
There you go.
And
he talked to most people in the hobby. He was just like,
he seemed like one of those guys who just friends with everyone.
Ever, being known.
Yeah.
But he was always around.
Yeah. So it's cool. I'm really glad that his family probably is very happy about that. And
yeah, speaking about the Dallas Fort Worth came from someone who passed away. Same with like a lot of Dan's pieces here. Some of the nicest pieces in this auction also came from someone who passed away.
Yeah.
Which, as morbid as it is, it's like it almost took that to finally get some of this best supply out to market.
Yeah.
Because no one wanted to consign a lot of the most expensive stuff they owned, given that prices were continually declining.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, man, I'm not going to sell my mint first print game of X. Like, why would I bother? But with all these people passing away, it was just like, oh, like here come the games regardless. And the market rewarded some of them.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, one of the greatest tragedies, I think, is someone dying young. And, when you see that happen to someone it's like really puts things into perspective, I think, like how easily all of this could just go away.
Like I said, it hit me like a brick.
Yeah.
I just ordered a pizza in, we were in, Colmar, I think. Colmar? Okay. Switzerland, sorry. We were in Switzerland. I just ordered a pizza and I saw like a Facebook update and I just like started tearing up and it was just like, oh my God, man. Like,
yeah.
Like he was like 40.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nothing. Like, so much life left ahead and, we're sitting on all this stuff and it's like,
stuff. At the end of the day, it's stuff.
You could die tomorrow. You just don't know. And you just have all this stuff. And it's like, if, I understand, it's collecting is fun and it's a hobby and it's meant to be that way. But, it's like, yeah, if you're not like benefiting right now from all this stuff, it just, when you die young, it's like, it's not, it shows that it really doesn't matter all that much because if you don't have health or anything else, it's like, I don't know, it's just stuff at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks. But,
yeah, hard segue.
Hard segue. Metal Warriors was the other one I was looking at. That was the other one that did $31,000.
Yeah, Metal Warriors, Konami cult classic. What even is the gameplay? Like, I don't know the game very well at all.
It's kind of like a run and gun, but it also had a really good multiplayer.
Ooh,
yeah,
Konami man coming in clutch with the multiplayer.
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember because I was looking. It was one of the games I was looking for when I was collecting CIB Super Nintendo stuff. And I just remember being the thing. It's like, oh, this had a super fun multiplayer mode. So that one I was...
I'm pretty sure that's highest graded copy that's ever been auctioned, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sure it has. It's pretty rare. And I wouldn't expect there'd be many super high grade copies.
As on the pop report, it's 4 grades higher than the next best example. So there's a 9.2 and a 9.8. And this is the 9.8.
Okay. I wonder how VGA's pop reports are for this game. But
I agree. I assume not many.
Yeah.
So yeah, 31,000 again. Though I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone did.
Yeah.
Great title, but like $31,000.
That's a lot.
On Metal Warriors.
Yeah,
on SNES?
for obscure.
Yeah, that's
SNES.
what I mean. More on the rare side, cult classic. Not a lot of those games don't like at least Kirby's Kirby. It's Nintendo. You can kind of, I guess, make a justification that it appeals to speculators, investors, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a first party Nintendo franchise. So
Metal Warriors, though, man, it's like you have to be a gamer. You have to know games in order to even care about that.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes to show you that like this is the difference between NES and SNES, where like a lot of the rare NES games are not necessarily all that great.
For sure, I agree.
Like Deadly Towers, the super rare that just sold. But when you look at like the Super Nintendo games that are rare, often a lot of them are really great games.
I agree, and those are some of the most expensive. You have another one there you're gonna mention, like speaking of
Wild Guns. That was the first ever graded game I bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still own it?
No. It was one of the ones that was stolen.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah, we had talked about this on Discord briefly. We should do a horror stories episode when we get closer to Halloween.
I didn't know you had games stolen. That's nuts.
Yeah, wasn't.
You've had customs open your stuff. You've had stuff stolen.
Yeah, you know what?
Absolute trooper. You keep coming back for more.
It's the trials and tribulations of being in this hobby. You deal with terrible people.
Love
sometimes.
Getting punched in the face over and over. Like, I love this hobby. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I love feeling in pain.
How much money can I lose?
Yeah, that's right. So that one I thought I never expected close to 24 grand US here for a 968 plus.
Yeah, my phone. What was 9.68 plus? Yeah, 24,000.
My copy was a VGA 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a ways away. Like it's nowhere in that same realm of a 9.68 plus.
For sure. But I remember paying like $2,000 for it, and I was like, whoa, like what did I do?
How long ago would that have been? Because that probably was before the boom and everything, I assume.
2017, late 2017.
That's still $2,000 for a sealed copy.
Yeah.
Like
But it's like you never see them. They're just
I know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a thing where a testament to people who are like, oh, sealed games used to be cheap or whatever. No one was buying. Like 2017, man, that's way before WATA games. That's way before anything. You're dropping $2,000 on a freaking VGA 80. Not even a nice copy.
Yeah. And I bought it in like a package deal with a like minty Earthbound.
Okay.
So it was like, I think I ended up spending like $3,000-ish Canadian, which like, in hindsight is great.
Yeah, but it's just like games like that have always had value.
Yeah.
Wild Guns was never cheap.
No.
Period.
No.
Metal Warriors was never cheap.
Yeah. CIB, it's like that was always the hunt. It's like look for those rare titles. But they're great titles. Oh yeah.
My phone just died, so.
Okay.
There was another one I wanted to right underneath it, the Mega Man X, 9.88++, Japanese print.
Right, which is super rare.
Oh, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible rare. And I think it surprised myself and a lot of other people that it only sold for 22,500. Only. Just as far as like, we're talking about Wild Guns, Metal Warriors. Those are more of like the, I don't want to say niche, but they dig deeper.
Yeah.
Mega Man X falls into that same category as Kirby's Dream Land 3 for me.
Yeah.
Where this is a Super Nintendo. Everyone played it. Everyone knows it. This is a top 5, top 10 on everyone's list. Mega Man X. Only $22,000. Actually purchased by someone in Discord. So they showed themselves off and they're happy with their purchase. They were also surprised they got it for this price.
Yeah.
I think it's a good purchase.
I think so too. But
it's
what, when I think about collecting back in those days before the boom really, Mega Man X was not one of the coveted titles to look for. It was always
X2, X3.
Yeah. And so it can't, maybe there's still some of that leftover mentality a little bit in that kind of price relativism, when you get to like X2, X3. It's like those ones were kind of the ones.
I think X2, X3 still would sell for a lot more.
Yeah.
If X2 came up 9.88++.
In that grade, yes.
If X3
for sure.
came up in that grade, I think the 85 plus X3 already did 2030.
Yeah.
And that was like, a bit ago now, but like, they're just bigger, better, more sought after, I guess, than X is. But did you have any other ones that you think are like good value?
Yeah. I thought
then we'll talk about some of the poor the ones that we think are just like this is dumb.
Terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. I thought Ninja Warriors was very reasonable for the 85A plus.
That's on Super Nintendo again, right?
Yeah.
Another really rare one.
Another pretty rare title. Yeah, one of those like only a handful sealed copies out there.
Do you know if there are comps on that at all in any grade?
I think so. I forget exactly. I might have to look it up after, but I think it sold like 2,700 all in.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty good price.
How much is a CIB now? Do you know?
I think
Is that like a 6, 7? Like, is it? You know what I mean? Because so many of these Super Nintendo games are also ultra expensive CIB.
yeah. I think if you were to find like a really mint, if it even exists, a really mint CIB of that game, you might be looking at, I don't know, I want to say like 1,200 ish.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
If that is the
But
case,
if you can find a black box that looks good,
that's the issue. I agree.
there's none out there that I can find.
And if minty CIB is really that valuable, then that's just too cheap for factory sealed.
Yeah.
I get it's an 8.5 A+, not the greatest grade in the world, but if you actually want a sealed copy, good luck. Good luck. I think it might be Pop 4. I can't remember what the listing actually said on it, but it was extremely low.
Yeah, very rare. I've seen a couple raw ungraded sealed copies. I think there was one up on eBay for a while for like 7,500 or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which is just like, that's a bit too much.
Shoot for the moon. It's rare.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like,
yeah, but like grade it. Come on. Don't put it up there raw.
At least freaking.
Like, don't be stupid. If you're gonna put it up raw, someone's taking a gamble.
Yeah,
so it's like it has to be an incentive. So.
No, I agree. I'd rather always just... the thing with doing that, too, is, like, if you just get it graded, it's so much easier to transact the item. Mm-hmm. Like, even if it grades low or high or whatever it is, it's like your odds of theft or return issues or everything just goes down. Because it's like, here it is. This is the game. This is the grade. Here are your 2 photos. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to take 900 different photos in the buyer to be like, oh, actually, didn't show this side of the box. There's the grade. Buy it. Like, or don't, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's what it's there for.
Yeah, literally, right? Yeah. And yeah, it can't be understated how much easier it makes it to do everything.
Yeah, especially if you're located in the US. Like,
yes,
you really have no excuse.
Make your life easier.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It just makes you pay the $50, $100 to get something. It makes your life easier.
Yeah.
But with Super Nintendo as well, I thought Mario RPG 9.0 A+, actual Japan copy of the game went for $3,000, which not super cheap, but underneath comps. Which I am surprised, following the release of the new game, renewed interest, all this stuff that we see Mario RPG now come up, 9.0 A+. It's like the acceptable grade. Most people would put that in their collection and be like, oh, cool, I have a good condition copy of the game. Still going under comps. I think it's around $4,000 for the last sales. So, like, if I had money, if I hadn't just bled myself dry in Europe, that's a game I would have liked to place a bid on.
Switzerland ain't cheap.
Oh God, nothing is, man. Nothing over there is cheap.
No,
Canada's just freaking broke. That's what I learned. Converting against the other dollars and stuff, awful.
Yeah,
but that's one I would have went for. I want a Mario RPG. Yeah, like I said, just with the Switch game coming out and stuff, I just thought there might be that renewed interest in getting a vintage sealed copy.
Yeah.
Might just be a one-off thing. It's a game that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, though, because if it's going to keep going down, like, oh my God, I'm going to get myself a mint copy of this game where I thought I would never be able to own one.
Right.
I might all of a sudden end up with like a 9.2.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I think it was a game that kind of like, really late Super Nintendo game. And when it came out, it's like, what is this game? Like, I remember seeing a poster of it in a store being like, what is that?
That's unreal that you have that memory.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'm trying to remember where I saw that. Might even been a rental store, like a poster in a rental store. I was like, because I was already like, looking at like PlayStation and other stuff. And then I just see this Mario RPG poster. I'm like, wow, that looks cool. I have no idea what that is.
Did you end up buying it?
No.
No.
No, I mean, new games back then were just so expensive.
No, I know. We barely bought any either.
Yeah. You had to like buy it used or wait for a birthday or Christmas
Mario
or something.
RPG was super expensive always. It was like renowned for being expensive and hard to find. And that's like in the year, 2002.
Yeah.
I remember trying to get it. It was like $80 at the used game store.
Like,
just like, what's going on?
No way.
Yeah, like it's weird to think it was already like not a collector's item, but like kind of.
Yeah.
It just had that aura around it of being expensive, hard to get, and expensive, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cult classic already as soon as it dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But being that Nintendo Square RPG, like, I want a copy. Definitely.
Yeah,
I will get a copy eventually. But
it's a great Super Nintendo title. So.
Period.
Yeah.
On the other side of things, games where I was like, there's a couple of Pokemon sales, which I don't even really want to touch on because I don't know if they're going to get paid. I don't know if they're going to, Like, you know what I mean? I just want to wait. Like, the Pokemon Red went for
Will they get paid?
$118,000. Well,
Yeah.
it last sold for $45,000 last year,
Yeah.
Pokemon Red.
Yeah, I know.
118,000 now. It's been a year since we saw one come up. It could be pent-up demand, new people looking for Pokemon. Like, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
But when I see something pop off 3x in 2024, what it sold for last time, I have huge hesitation, huge pause. So, assuming the Pokemon Red is real, if that's a real sale right there, oh my god, that's a lot of money. That is insane.
Right.
Like, you just could have got one cheaper. You could put up a bounty in a Facebook group. Someone would have gave you one
Yeah.
for $75,000. I know
Yeah.
people who own them. The cost basis are way lower. Like, so I don't want to touch on that one too much.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you know, it's funny. It just reminded me, speaking of unpaid sales, you remember that Dragon Ball Z cell?
Which one?
The famous Vegeta one, the Harmony cell, where he's like sacrificing
Oh,
himself.
yeah, okay, yeah. That sold for what, 49,000, 50,000?
No, 150,000.
Oh my god. Okay,
It wasn't paid.
Really?
It was not paid.
There you go.
So, you know, anyone who was speculating and buying up DBZ stuff after that.
That is the issue with that.
Yeah.
Is it's all of a sudden you could have a throwaway account or whatever it is, right? You get banned from Hertiage Auctions, but you use an alt, whatever. You can shill bid up, you can pump something where you know eyeballs are going to be on it. Everyone's going to be talking about that Pokemon Red sale. I'm sitting here talking about it and I don't even believe it.
Yeah.
People are going to be talking about it. And if you have supply or you want to make Pokemon look more valuable, there you go. Here's a $118,000 sale on Pokemon Red in 2024, and you just don't pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying that's what's going to happen, but it sure is a fast track to putting everyone's eyeballs on Pokemon video game.
Yeah, and you know, I think if the whole auction on the whole wasn't so strong, I would think that would be more suspicious. But
100%.
I think in general, the auction surprised a lot of people.
A lot of results did.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not like sitting here like I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, oh, maybe. Because we were talking about Kirby's Dream Land 3 for $30,000, Metal Warriors for $30,000, like maybe. I wouldn't act on it though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, I need to run out and buy Pokemon. Like,
No, you should wait and see.
yeah, take it easy.
Yeah.
Because there's also Pokemon Yellow for $32,500. That's a 9.6 A+. Like that's garbage.
That's stupid.
Makes no sense.
Why?
Last sold for I think $8,000. You can just buy like a 9.8 A+. Like, it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
This yellow should go unpaid.
Yeah. Well, you know, there was an interesting market hiccup in early August where we saw like sort of a mini stock market crash. And I think a lot of people who had liquidity at that point are probably doing well if they bought into stuff at that downturn.
Right.
So, you know, this could be a sign that there was some, you know, new money made.
Could just be some leveraged people here, like
Could be,
you know, the 10Xers who just made a mint in 7 days.
Yeah, it's possible. You know,
it is.
Like
I think rate cuts just happened as well for the U.S.
Yeah, and
So
there's
it's
more
like-
coming.
Yeah, we could be entering into a new liquidity era here where alternative assets, if you want to call them that, video games, become a lot more appealing again to buy.
Yeah.
Because you don't just, you know, money becomes worth less. Not worthless, worth less.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I
Important
enunciated.
distinction
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I had to enunciate that properly.
Yeah.
But one that I do think will get paid and like shocked me. I don't think it's a good purchase necessarily, but Jack Bros on Virtual Boy, a 9.2 A+ copy. If you guys don't know about Virtual Boy, there's 13 games released in North America for the console. That's it. Failure on launch, commercial failure. Japan actually had like a decent library. I think maybe got up to 30 games, but in North America, 13 games. The Grail, it's always been the Grail. Jack Bros. Published by Atlas, of course, because, you know, we'll just tack that on as well. That's how you get a good Grail. But $20,000 for 9.2 A+. It's a rare game. Jack Bros has always been a rare game. It's on the Virtual Boy though. And it is like, do you even know it? Like, are you familiar with the game prior to this?
No, not at all.
I just feel like it's almost buying rare for the sake of rare.
Yeah.
Like, how many people can really be going after factory sealed Virtual Boy games? I think you have to be a full set collector to care about Jack Bros. Because how else would you even like learn about it?
Right.
So you probably have to have the other 12 games as well if you really want to go. I just $20,000 to me feels like something that will not age well at all.
Yeah, it's tough.
I get
like,
it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking like if there's a system that's like furthest from my collecting goals out there, I'd probably place like Virtual Boy and like Atari Lynx or something, just
You're
like
getting into the same
stuff
area.
no one cares about.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're getting into that same era of just esoteric, super niche. It's a grail.
I don't doubt that there are guys who are super into that, but that's a pretty healthy price.
I think you're buying it, and like, that has to be treated as a consumable. Like, you are just accepting that when you purchase this, you probably will never see $20,000 out of it again.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were 2 people bidding, maybe 3. Like, it has to go up to that price. It's an auction, but like, there's no way the person who bought it is like, yes, I'm gonna sell it for more later.
Yeah. It was someone who was perfectly willing to sit on that for a lifetime.
Yes, it has to be. That's my only way to understand it myself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're kind of an idiot. I'll be frank on that one. Like, there's better purchases for $20,000 than Jack Bros.
Yeah.
But if you love it, if that's what you want, and that's people who collectors drive prices like that.
Yeah.
Like, the people who actually want this stuff, that's cool. But like, goddamn, I hope that's who bought it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, not someone who's hoping to make a buck.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Actually, the next one on the list, now that I have it in front of me, is Phantasy Star.
Yes.
The later print, not even the early print.
I know.
Which is so weird to me. Like,
I didn't even know it had a variant, but I'm not much of a Super Master System guy.
Yeah. I love Phantasy Star Online. Like, that's one of my favorite games, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, I always had interest in the Phantasy Star series, even though I never really played the earlier games. But I remember the distinction between the Tonka variant versus the earlier print, and I was just like, wow, like $20,000. That's pretty healthy.
Do you know if it exists in the earlier variant?
I think so.
Bring up the WATA Pop report just really quick if you can here. I'll keep scrolling for. Because $20,000 on. Are you going to bring it up over there?
I'll bring it up here.
Okay. Yeah, $20,000 on. Did you pause us? No. Yes.
Nope,
No.
We're still going. We're still going. Start riffing while I'm looking.
Yeah. Yeah, the right underneath is Halo Combat Evolved. I guess I'll just mention one that did well again. It sold $8,000 higher than its last comp. Oh, you got Master System up here.
Yeah. So the earlier non-Tonka print, there's 2 on the WATA Pop, a 9.4 and 9.8.
There is a 9.8 of the early print.
There is a 9.8. What's the seal grade? A+.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, then the Tonka, there's 3. So 9.4B, 9.0 C+.
All crap.
These Master System games have terrible seals. Like our buddy that we know, Jason, has a bunch of them, and they're like all like solidified and like shatterable.
Really?
Yeah.
They've like lost moisture, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they're so fragile. Like the rips are, it's a really brittle plastic.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does not age well.
That's going to I want to say it's a storage issue. Like,
it
to
could
be honest, like, I want to
be.
say it's exposure to heat or sun or something, because like, you can have a Master System game that's like, I have Altered Beast sitting in my collection over there.
Mm-hmm.
It was as moist as the day it's, I don't know another word to use for that.
The word moist.
Yeah. But the seal was very, like, you're not going to crack it.
Yeah.
It's still malleable, pallet. It still has a lot of
bendy
life in it. Yeah.
Flexible.
So,
yeah.
That's crazy though. I didn't even really reflect on that. It was a later print copy.
Yeah.
So it might be the nicest copy of the game that exists. 9.88++, later print. That WATA 9.88+. It's funny because I think if that were to come up now, that should sell for more. I don't know if it would.
Yeah.
20,000 for Phantasy Star seems massive.
Yeah.
For any SMS game.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's how it kind of strikes me.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of money.
And maybe it was because of the pedigree. That probably helped it too.
I think so. I think it does help to have that pedigree distinction on there, but
yeah.
Also, another one where it's like, man, Mario Kart 64, 9.08+ went for almost $12,000, I think.
That's pretty healthy
for that grade. That's insane.
Yeah, like
again,
what is going on here?
Shades of a year or two ago,
yeah.
Where if you just again put up a bounty. If you want to pay $10,000 for a 9.08+, people will line up to sell you it at this point. And I guess that's the thing with some of these auctions is you just get bidders who don't know any better, bidders who bid too much. I don't know what the rationale is behind it, but you see things like this. Again, speaking to Pokemon Red, it's like, I don't think you need to run out and buy Mario Kart 64. We've seen the price of these continually come down from, I think that grade sold for like $46,000 at one point.
Oof.
So like,
Yeah.
Mario Kart 64 did an absolute roller coaster in itself.
Yeah.
But you don't need to pay $11,000 for it at this point in time. There aren't enough eyes on this hobby to justify that kind of price point at this time.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting the next few auctions over the next like 6 months. We'll see how some of these outliers have held up.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it's going to come down to, right? I did an actual recap video talking about it more, but it's like, before I get way too excited about all of this, I have to see replication.
Mm.
I've been hit with too much hardship, Jeremy. I've gone through it, man.
You've cried, you've shed the tears.
Like, I need to see sustainability before I'm gonna like FOMO purchase anything.
Yeah.
Last big FOMO purchase was my Ocarina of Time that freaking sucks, and it's down 50% and it's a bad grade. I need time.
Yeah.
I need sustainability.
I'm sorry
here.
for upping on Infinity to,
Yeah.
to that one.
Yeah, as you show up with a 9.88 plus in hand, right?
That's right, yeah.
Look what I paid less for than your
Hey,
8.5. Oh,
hey,
great.
Hey, look at us.
Why is yours so bad?
Yours kind of looks like a little deformed
Why
there.
does it have a rib?
Yeah.
God, thanks.
Why is it crushed? Aladdin.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo. That shocked me too. 88,125 US for 9.88 plus plus. To be fair, is the Japan, which is
Yeah, nice. I think it's the nicest copy, Japan early production copy of Aladdin that exists. Almost 10 grand.
Yeah.
It's
It's so funny. How do you feel about the two games, Genesis versus SNES?
I don't have enough opinion to really strongly, like, I don't think Genesis should sell for more. I think Genesis is widely regarded as being the better release.
That's the thing about
Yes.
it. Is it the better game?
I think it's generally held to that, is it not?
It's funny because I get the feeling that it is, but I've played both of them, and Genesis is by far inferior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I
what do people like about it then?
So
better soundtrack? Like what's the
no,
draw?
not even. Like, okay, so here's my beef with it. Like, I rented the Capcom game a lot growing up, and I loved playing it, the SNES one. And I know the Genesis one had some kind of tie directly to the animators. So they actually, like, the people who worked on the movie also worked on the Genesis game. There's something like that.
Okay.
But, in playing through the Genesis one, like, the music is really terrible. There's really no final boss. It's just like Jafar hovering there. And you don't even see the snake at the end, which is like the best part of the movie. So when Jafar turns into the giant cobra.
Does the SNES have all this stuff?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And Aladdin in the Genesis version is killing people with a sword. I'm like, Aladdin doesn't kill people. What do you do? What is this? And then
is there blood?
no,
Surely not.
No, I don't think there's blood.
Like M-rated Aladdin running
but
out
you know
there?
what? The Capcom
The
one.
streets are mine.
Yeah, that's right. He's like killing guards with a sword, and I was like, in playing the Super Nintendo one, you do the classic game thing where you jump on guys' heads and all that, and it's very parkour. Like, there's a lot of like swinging through stuff, and the music is incredible in that game. And at the end, you actually do fight the giant snake, so it feels like a much more complete game. Like, it's the quality of Capcom game design in every aspect. So like the Genesis version gets it's the far superior version.
That's all I've ever heard. I think even when this sold, someone was like, I'd rather have the Genesis one.
Yeah, which is stupid. Like, I played both of them. Like, Genesis is objectively much more terrible of a game. I know it has the more direct connection, but
so interesting to hear.
SNES, Capcom forever.
Yeah,
great. You can't beat it. Anyway, forget that. What's next?
Yeah, so with that, I mean, like, there you go. The Super Nintendo one. I think that will be the nicest copy to come up. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's another copy that nice, unless it's like VGA graded from a factory case or something.
I always wonder with the those Disney games too, like, are Disney games investable? Is Disney investable? Yeah,
you know what? It's funny because as an art collector, the Disney stuff goes for big money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Like, the artwork is, they also tended to keep a lot of art. They were one of those companies. So like a lot of artists who did work for Disney never got their art back.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So the game covers that do exist out there that are Disney games, they will fetch big money for sure.
So in saying all this, like, doing Disney games might be viable.
Yeah.
Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, like
Lion King. I mean, they're all great games.
They are.
Like, they
Most
are
of them are.
fantastic games.
The Disney games in that era weren't just like shovelware.
Yeah,
they were like actual games.
And
yeah.
because of Capcom, you know, like
Yes.
Capcom had this license. They were
So
making.
you had this monster IP with a monster game producer just creating
It's
classics.
just like masterpiece, you know.
It's funny now because if you see a game published by Disney, it's like, oh man, that's shovelware.
Yeah.
Like that's crap.
Yeah.
No one's, you know.
Which is really a shame because, you know, like in the 90s, you had all these amazing films, Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, like all these incredible classics. And now it's like,
you get them again. What do you mean? What do you should
yeah,
be having?
now we get them in terrible
you
live
just
action.
Get them again.
Yeah, that's right. Now we have like Snow White to
I
look
need the
forward
live
to.
action Lion King game, like also published by Capcom.
Have you seen the Snow White trailer?
No.
With the CGI dwarves?
Nope, I haven't even seen it yet.
Oh my god, is it awful?
I just checked out with all of that. Like, there's no magic there for me anymore.
I tried watching the Lion King live action, and it was not good. I turned it off. I was like,
They turned it off.
I can't take
my
this.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah. They just like they tried to make him look realistic.
I know. I've seen the trailer.
It's like an
and,
uncanny valley thing.
Yeah.
It's like if they're going to be dancing and singing, they should look a bit more animated. You know?
Just not for me.
Yeah, it's weird.
I checked out.
How'd you feel about the 6-in-1?
The Myriad.
Yeah,
It's
it's one of the classic rare.
I know. The
Yeah.
like ultra. I think it has like restoration on it or something.
Oh,
has
it's green label. Yeah,
Touch ups on the box. I think it was.
qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It scares me. Is what
Yeah.
I would say. It
I thought the
scares
price
me.
was pretty healthy. Like
Yeah, me
more
too.
healthy than it should have been.
It you know, the ultra rare stuff like Myriad 6-in-1, it has like I feel like those games really hit their peak in like 2011 to 2016 when you had like when Pat the NES Punk was actually collecting content about the NES. He was actually an NES guy, and you had the nerd and stuff putting these games in the spotlight of like these are the rarest collectibles ever, and everything was more towards cartridges. Like we were actually looking at cartridges and CIBs. It wasn't factory sealed. Like it was really, really, really niche. So truly, the rare stuff in the hobbies were all these cartridges, CIBs, Myriad 6-in-1, Caltron, Cheetah Men.
Action, whatever it is.
Yeah, Action 52.
Action 52, yeah.
Those were truly in the spotlight of being these games, and it really feels like, you know, post all of that, those YouTubers existing, like we don't have NES stuff now being championed the same way by people, or at least the ultra rare stuff being championed the same way. Actually making content or showing it to new people or renewed interest, renewed care for these games. And I really do fear, or not fear, I think that games like Myriad 6-in-1, unless we really see a renaissance towards this ultra rare niche stuff, I don't know where that renaissance comes from. And I don't know how you get new people to continually be caring to spend something like $8,000 on Myriad 6-in-1.
Yeah.
You can buy like the $8,000 in this auction is a lot. You can buy like, you know, $8,000 in the video game collecting hobby buys you.
You could buy like 3 pretty
I don't
nice
want to say
Super Nintendo
anything,
games. Yeah.
But like we just talked about Mario RPG selling for $3,000.
Yeah.
Get 3 freaking Mario RPGs.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like when you put Caltron, you know, restored next to like Mario RPG. It's like no question of which one I'd rather take it.
And the amount of people who know the game and the audience, potential future, it's just, I don't know.
It's tough. Yeah.
I like it. I like cool stuff like that, but it does give me pause. It gives me worry in 2024.
Yeah. And again, it's that, you know, NES problem of like some of the obscure games just not being anything good or.
Yeah, it's awful. It's nothing. It's nothing you want to play.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to play Myriad 6-in-1.
Yeah. You just get
You
it
own
because
it's rare.
Yeah.
But we'll end it off on that. The signature auction overall was pretty good. Interesting prices all around. You can leave a comment now on the, if you're listening to the audio, so make sure to leave a message, fan mail. You can get in there.
Send us a fan mail. You
Yes,
can
send
just
a question about
text us
this.
directly.
Absolutely. If you're watching on the YouTube, leave a comment, leave some, let me know what you think about the signature auction that just took place. A lot of stuff that took place, so let us know. Thanks for listening. Bye.